Just be yourself. It is the single most pervasive piece of advice in modern culture. It sounds like freedom. It sounds like relief. But if being yourself is so natural, why are we so exhausted? We are living in the age of performative authenticity. We curate messy photo dumps to prove we don't care. We stage candid moments to prove we are real. We are working overtime to prove we aren't working at all. The truth is, the pressure to find, define, and broadcast your true self isn't a path to happiness. It is a sophisticated psychological trap. It is a tyranny that is making us anxious, rigid, and terrified of change. Today, we are going to dismantle the myth of the true self. To understand why we feel this pressure, we have to look at a simple object, a paper knife. The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre used this object to explain the human condition. When a craftsman makes a paper knife, the idea of the knife exists before the knife itself. He knows it needs to cut paper. Its essence precedes its existence. But Sartre argued that humans are the only exception to this rule. We show up, we exist, and then we define who we are. For us, existence precedes essence. This is the smoking gun. We are taught to believe that deep down there is a true self buried like a treasure, waiting to be discovered. We take personality tests and go on retreats just to find it. But Sartre says, there is no treasure. There is no blueprint. You are not an archaeologist digging for a hidden truth. You are an architect, building on an empty lot. The anxiety you feel isn't because you haven't found yourself yet. It's because you are realizing that there is no self to find. There is only the terrifying freedom of creating it from scratch. So, where did this obsession come from? It's actually a recent invention. In the 19th century, we lived in a culture of character. The question wasn't, who am I? It was, am I doing the right thing? Identity was about duty, reputation, and morals. It was external. But as we moved into the 20th century, we shifted to a culture of personality. Suddenly, in a world of strangers, you had to be fascinating. You had to be magnetic. And now, we have entered what sociologist Zygmunt Bauman calls liquid modernity. The world is fluid. Jobs change, trends change, beliefs change. Yet we are trying to force ourselves to be static. We are trying to brand ourselves as one specific authentic thing in a world that demands we be water. We are exhausting ourselves trying to maintain a static identity in a liquid world. Why is it so hard to just let go and change? Because of the sunk cost fallacy. Usually we apply this to money, throwing good money after bad. But we do the same thing with our identity. If you've spent 10 years being the smart one, or the party girl, or the tortured artist, you feel you've invested too much to pivot now. We are trapped in a feedback loop called the looking glass self. We aren't being ourselves. We are performing the version of ourselves that we think others expect. We stick to the script because the marketing costs of rebranding our soul feel too high. We choose the misery of consistency over the waste of starting over. So, how do we escape the tyranny? We look to the poet John Keats, who proposed a concept called negative capability. It is the ability to exist in uncertainties and mysteries without an irritable reaching after fact. It is the ability to not know who you are and be okay with it. The philosopher Alan Watts warned us that trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. The more you try to grab hold of your ego, the more it slips away. The antidote to the exhaustion of being somebody is the freedom of being nobody. When you are nobody, you don't have a brand to protect. You don't have a reputation to maintain. You are free to be inconsistent. You are free to be a hypocrite to your past self, so you can be true to your present moment. The tyranny ends when the invention begins. If this video made you feel a little lighter, or maybe just a little less crazy, consider subscribing. We're building a place here for the architects, not the archaeologists. Welcome to Gaze Beneath.